You are listening to Hitplay, Not Pause, a feisty menopause podcast for active, performance-minded women. I am your host, Celine Yeager. Each week, I bring you advice from athletes, scientists, researchers, and other experts to help you feel and perform your best, no matter what your hormones are doing. This show is a production of Live Feisty Media. Hello, strong, feisty women. I hope you all are well. So, I remember when I ran my first marathon. It was the Shamrock Marathon in Virginia Beach in 2004. And when I was done, I swore I would never, ever do that again, unless it was part of an Ironman. And I made good on that promise to myself. And then after I ran not just one, but two more marathons in 2008, when I did Ironman Louisville and then went to Kona 6 weeks later, I hung up my marathon shoes for good. Because for me personally, the repetition of running on the road or a track wears me down mentally and physically in ways that I honestly just can't wrap my head around. So I'm always fascinated by people who run super long distances, especially on the road. So earlier this year, Hilde Dosogne caught my attention. At the start of 2024, the 55-year-old runner from Belgium set out to achieve the record of being the first woman to run a marathon distance run every single day of the year. And on December 31st of last year, she clocked her 366th marathon. It was a leap year, which means she had that one extra day to run. And serendipitously, because she had that one extra marathon to run, that also gave her a tie with Hugo Farias from Brazil, who holds the male record for consecutive marathon distance runs. Also 366, which he did in 2023. Hilde was interviewed by NPR in January and said, "I must say, I underestimated it." And she went on to talk about how the tough part was actually the mental part of being at the start line day in and day out. And if that weren't enough, she did it all while holding down a part-time job and caring for a family of 5. Along the way, she also raised a ton of money. At the time of that NPR story, she had raised more than 65,000 euros or 67,000 US dollars for breast cancer research. So here was a woman my age doing something I found absolutely incomprehensible. So naturally, I had to reach out, and she was generous enough to agree to come on the show. So this conversation actually took place in early January, shortly after she finished that feat. Hilde was still very much in recovery mode and was in the midst of processing everything she had to do to make it official in the eyes of Guinness, which means submitting evidence of her mileage, like GPS data, images, witness reports, and the like. It's a whole process. And this is where full absolute disclosure on my part, my plan was to drop this episode when she was awarded the world record, which usually takes 12 to 15 weeks, and I dropped the ball. I missed the announcement, which happened in March. So that's my miss there, and I apologize for that. I was pretty bummed when I saw it, but honestly, this conversation is completely evergreen because it's one of resilience and dedication and what it takes to make a big, audacious dream or goal come true. Because in the end, that's what it was all about. Hilde wanted to know what she was capable of. She had completed other really big events, obviously. She had done the Marathon des Sables, which is a 250K stage race in Morocco that is incredibly difficult, takes place over about 7 days. The Spartathlon, another ultra marathon event, this one in Greece, which is about 250K between Athens and Sparta, among other ultras. But she just really wanted to do, as if that wasn't big enough, something really, really big. And with a lot of protein pancakes and pasta and energy gels, I think she said 5 per marathon, according to her Instagram, and tons of support and as much sleep as she could squeeze in, she did it. But not without falls and injuries and all types of mental and physical pain. But as she says, the mind is stronger than the body. So this conversation is a peek behind a curtain into that journey and what it took to make it happen. and as well as what it took to get the feat recognized. I will drop her Instagram into the show notes so you can follow her exploits because, as you will hear, Hilda is not done yet. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did and you leave inspired by it. Okay, before we get to it, reminder that Feisty Menopause, the parent company that hosts and produces this podcast, has a slew of awesome courses, educational offerings, two of which are put together by yours truly. Navigate Menopause, which is a deep dive, as it sounds, into all things you need to know as you navigate menopause as a midlife woman. And brand new one coming out that I am completing as we speak, the Perimenopause Starter Pack, which is a very digestible, like, here's what perimenopause is and all the things you need to know about it as you work your way into this transition. And we also have Strong, a course on how to get started lifting, Fueled, which, as it sounds, is about getting your nutrition sorted out, and two more in the works, Brain Power and Hormone Therapy Quick Start Guide by Dr. Carla DiGirolamo. All of this will be available on demand starting June 9th. The best way to make sure you get all the news on all of our offerings as they come out is to sign up for my free weekly Feisty 40 Plus newsletter. There's a link in the show notes to make all of that a snap. All right, super quick thanks, as always, for the kind reviews and ratings that continue to roll in. I have some really exciting guests, fingers crossed, a couple really exciting guests lined up in the upcoming months, and those reviews really just help make it possible. And if you like the show, please share it. Believe it or not, as I've said before, the old-fashioned word of mouth, sharing it, texting it to your friends, is still the biggest way to make shows like mine continue to grow. Finally, before we wrap up, very quick thanks to Previnex for their support on all of these years for this show. I just saw a review of their Muscle Health Plus product from a woman holding up a race medal that says, "Recovery is the best I have ever felt. Feel so much energy to back up all of my training runs. Feeling stronger than ever." And I mean, who can argue with all of that? So thanks, Previnex, for all you do for us. And with that, enough of me. Let's have a few words about our awesome sponsors and get on with the show. Hilda, welcome to the show. I am very excited to talk to you about your current feed. I have to ask first, though, how are you recovering?
Well, actually, I'm recovering slowly because the last week of my challenge, I had pain in my hamstring. So I had an injury, actually, but I didn't want to stop just before it was finished. So I'm still recovering from that. And there was also some blood in my leg. So they took that out. And after that, it was going better. But today I went to the physiotherapist and he let me do some exercises, but I'm already back to running.
Wow.
But he told me I was running too much already, so I should keep it down to 3 times per week. So I will listen to him because he's a very good physiotherapist.
And how are you mentally right now? Because I know when you get done with a big thing, I mean, and my big things are a fraction of what your big thing just was, but there's always this inevitable post-event blues. There's a letdown. Are you going through any of that?
No, none of that. I'm happy that I'm back at running already. And also at the end of the year, I was getting tired of always having to run the marathon. It was like an obligation. So now I have my freedom back. So I'm very happy. I can decide when and where I will go running. So that's a relief, actually. And then on the other hand, I have the impression that my job is not finished yet because I don't have the official approval by Guinness World Records. So I'm working hard right now to submit all my evidence.
And what does that entail? I mean, do you have like Strava files or GPS files?
Yes,
What do you have to send them?
it's
Yeah.
actually a KML file.
Okay.
And I get it from my activity I recorded it on my sport watch. So every evening I had to download that file, but also I had to take photos and videos during the marathons. And I also had 2 witnesses every day.
Mm.
And now I have to upload everything, all the data on the server of Guinness World Records. but it goes very slowly. So I think I do like in 1 hour, I upload the data from maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Boy.
So yeah, it keeps me busy. And
It's
I'm also back at work. So I last year I worked part-time, and this year I work a little bit more, not full-time. It's 80%. So yeah, but it's not like that I have the blues. No, I
I'm glad to
haven't
hear that.
like that.
I'm glad to hear that. So obviously, congratulations. It is mind-boggling, and I'm sure you've heard everybody say that. I have to ask, you did 366 consecutive days of the marathon. You only needed to do 151. When you set out for this challenge, had you set your sights on 366 because that was also the male record? Or what
No,
was your
no.
thought process? Okay.
Well, we wanted to do a big stunt also to get media attention for the charity goal. And the problem was indeed a little bit that we announced it in advance that I would run the whole year.
Oh.
So it had been in all the newspapers, and we did that to get the media attention. So if I would give up before 366 days, it would seem like giving up. Although I had already broken the record at 151 marathons.
Were
That
you aware
would
of the
have been
male record at 366?
at first no, but when I looked it up, I saw indeed it was also 366. And somebody wrote me yesterday, why didn't you try to break that? But the reason is I really couldn't run one day more because the last day I fell and the pain in my hamstring got even worse. So initially I planned to run one more marathon, but I really couldn't. I had to stop.
And that was a collision with a spectator or someone else running?
Yeah, well, it was like an accident. I went off the track and then to take a gel, and then I came back and somebody ran into me. So
Oh.
yeah, unfortunately. So I was running with quite some pain the last part of the marathon.
So let's set a little bit of groundwork. I did some research, but I couldn't quite sense like how long have you been doing this kind of like ultra running?
Actually, I think it was since 2019 already, but in the beginning, I didn't dare to run ultra races. So I did like social runs. For example, we were running the Belgian coastline, and that's 75 kilometers. I think I should say it in miles, but I'm not
That's
sure
okay. I
how
don't
many
know.
miles that is. And also some races that are not official, like 6 hours. But there is a German site. It's called DUV Statistic, and they keep track of all the records of ultra runners, and I'm also listed there, so it can be tracked for. But I think the first official ultra race, I think it was a 6 hour race. I've been doing those already 5 years.
Have you always been a runner?
I was running when I was young, but not competitively. And then I got married and got children. I worked on my career. And then when we were 40, my husband decided to start running. So I also started running. And then he evolved to triathlon. And for me, it was then ultra running.
Huh. And what inspired this current challenge? I mean, I saw you saying that you knew that it's something you thought that you could do, but like it's a big goal.
Actually, we were following Candice Bird, and she was running 200 consecutive ultra marathons. I think it was last year. And then it was actually the moment that she stopped that I decided within a few weeks to go for also consecutive marathons. I was hesitating between the ultra marathons and the marathons, but I didn't want to spend another hour per day of running. I think I couldn't combine that with my job because I wanted to keep working part-time, but I didn't want to give up my job completely. And I think if you run 50 kilometers per day, it's even more heavy. And I didn't see myself doing that for 1 year. That would be too much.
So you ran about 4 hours a day, is that correct?
Yeah, 4 hours and 5 minutes on average. I didn't want to spend too much time because women before me have also run consecutive marathons, but they took longer time. Urshana, the current record holder, she ran about the same speed. But the women before that, they were taking like 5 or 6 hours for the marathons, and that's also allowed. But I really didn't want to spend much more time on this activity every day.
That's a very that's a fairly quick marathon in general. I mean, for most people who would run a marathon, did
Yeah,
you, if you were just to go out and run your fastest marathon, I'm just curious, like what would that look like?
that would be 3 hours and 25
Okay.
minutes. That's my best time, but I couldn't do that every
Oh,
day.
yeah, no,
No,
understood.
the 4 hours was like a bit in between, yeah, slow and fast. It's like rolling pace, and I felt good with that, but it was also more heavy on my body than if I would have run slower. I think the
And
slower you run, the less impact it has on your body.
there's probably a sweet spot, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
at some point it's time on your feet, versus
yeah, yeah,
the
that's
effort
right.
level.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you did most of it in a park? Where did you do most of the runs?
Well, there's a track in Ghent, and it's used by rowers. So there's water, 2 kilometers of water, and around that there's a 5 kilometer path. So you can run on the concrete or on the soft. I don't know what they call it in English. We call it the Finnish track.
Like a dirt track, like a
Yeah,
cinder
yeah,
track? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, when I had pain in my feet, I could run there, so I could switch a little bit. But yeah, I had to run that lap, of course, 8 times, and then a little extra to, and I was always running 42.5 kilometers, so a little bit more than marathon distance to make sure that I covered the
Just in
distance. But
case.
I also had the track measured officially, so that's an extra, yeah, um, certification to the track. It was also useful because I didn't have to take all my food and drink with me compared to when I would be running one big lap. And it was also easy for people who wanted to come running with me because they knew every half hour I would pass again the starting point and they could join me for one or more laps.
Did you have a lot of company over the year?
Not every day, especially on weekdays. I was sometimes running alone even, but mostly I was not alone. And in the weekends, there was always a lot of people, like between 20, 30. And sometimes there was an event, and then we had like sometimes more than 100 people.
So you would go to an official marathon event and run that? Is that what I'm hearing? Or no?
Well, no, I also did run some official marathons, races, yeah,
Yeah.
like about 15. But mostly it was, yeah, not an event because on weekdays it's not organized.
Yeah. Yeah. So the big question, obviously, Hilda, is how? I mean, how did you stay healthy enough to complete a marathon a day for 366 days?
Well, I realized in the beginning it was getting adapted to it. I was very, very tired. So, but after a few weeks, I got used to it. And then I realized I needed more sleep. So, what I did is that after working, I slept 1 hour during the lunch break. And that helped me a lot. So, yeah, to run the marathons more comfortably. But in the first weeks, I was very, very tired. But then it's like getting a routine. I started to see it as a second job that I had to do, and just try not to think about it, about the big effort. Well, what I also had is I couldn't sleep much at night.
Hmm.
So because I still had the adrenaline of the running, and then also of meeting new people, because it was like a public event and anybody could be there at the start, and I didn't know about it. So that was also stressful. And in the evening, sometimes I couldn't sleep because of that. And also because I was thinking, tomorrow I have to run another marathon. And that gave me stress. So then I was thinking I have to sleep, but yeah, it makes it even worse. So yeah, that was difficult.
Did that get any easier over time? The sleep? Did your body just at some point just take sleep because you needed it?
Yeah, it got really heavy at some point. I went to the doctor, and I was also a little bit sick. So he gave me one time a sleeping pill because I was really a wreck. Especially, yeah, I also got corona in August. So I was sick a few times. I realized that my immune system was like compromised. So I got sick more easily than normal. And it also took me longer to recover while I was sick because I couldn't rest enough.
So I'm hearing you ran through COVID. You had COVID and you
Yeah.
ran.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Were they
But
still 4 hour
that,
marathons?
no, it was a little bit slower, but
Yeah.
still like 4 hours, 20, 25 minutes.
Wow.
But still, my average of all the marathons over the whole year was 4 hours and 5 minutes. Because the races I ran faster, I always try to run faster than 4 hours.
And how did your joints hold up?
Well, pretty well. I didn't have any problems with that. I did have bursitis in my hip, and then yeah, the doctor helped me. So I did take some painkillers then.
Mm.
But that was in the beginning, and it went away, and it didn't come back. So I had different problems throughout the year, and they were always different. In the beginning, I had blisters the first week even, but then I started to rub my feet with Vaseline, and they didn't come back. And then the first months, I often had pain in my foot soles, especially when I had new shoes. But that also went away. And then at the end, I had more and more pain. It was like piling up. So first, beginning of December, it was my heels. So I put some extra soles in my shoes. And then with Christmas, I got pain in my hamstring. So yeah,
How many pairs of shoes did you go through?
24. So two
Wow.
pairs per month. I would always use two different models and alternate them. So never run on the same shoes for 2 days in a row.
What shoes
Uh,
do you wear?
a Hoka,
Okay.
and they sponsored me also, fortunately.
Yeah, that's
Because
a lot of
I was
shoes.
also sponsored for the sports nutrition. That was also a big cost.
What did you use there? Because that was gonna be one of my questions is how did you
It's
fuel yourself?
it's a Belgian brand, Ethics. So they paid for my gels, and also always I drank a recovery shake after the marathon, like immediately. And then sometimes I also took 9 protein because I'm a vegetarian, so I needed to take care that I got enough protein. And then my husband always baked pancakes in the morning with extra protein powder. And then otherwise I eat a lot of pasta in the evening. Yeah.
Did you do any supplemental training like physio, mobility? Did you do other work to support yourself through
Yeah,
such?
I went to the physiotherapist one time per week. That was the first part of the year, but after that I chose to rest more. So because the physiotherapist was also I had to drive there, and it took me like 2 hours for that visit, including the drive. So I chose at certain moments to sleep instead of going to the physiotherapist. But then I did my exercises at home.
I have to imagine, even through all of this, and this all sounds like there were some painful obstacles to navigate, including, I'm
Mm.
sure, some crashes. I mean, you had to have fallen.
Yeah, a lot.
Uh,
There's a lot of crashes too. Yeah.
that the mental was the mental part the hardest part?
Yes.
What so many questions. I'm sure people ask you this all the time, but what did you think about day in and day out during those 4 hours?
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing. Do you
Of
try to
what?
think of nothing? Like
No.
do you have music,
Sometimes.
other podcasts, other books? Were you listening to
Yeah.
anything?
I get to
Okay.
listen to podcasts and music. But usually, people were there to run with
Mm,
me, and I was talking to them. And then I tried to. I had this little game. I don't know. I think children may also use it, but there were a lot of cars parked around the track. So, and there was also a student who ran along with me. I didn't know him before, but his name was Simon, or is Simon. And we had this game to read license plates on the cars. So in Belgium, the license plates have like one number and then three letters and then three numbers. But the three letters could make a word. And sometimes it was really funny. So we tried to discover meaningful or funny words in the license plates. So yeah, a stupid game, but it kept me busy. And so yeah.
yeah, that's
And
the
then
kind of game you play in the car on a long road trip, right? The same
uh,
kind of idea.
yeah. And also, people telling me stories and what kept me busy. Sometimes I was calling. I was a lot running with my shocks, my ears. I had
Hmm.
on. So yeah, when it got tough at the end, sometimes I was listening to music or podcasts. Yeah. So
How old are your kids? How many kids do you have?
I have four, and they are 17, 19, 25, and 26.
Any of them join you?
Yeah, my oldest daughter, Amber, she was running with me many times, and she was also training for the Marathon of Berlin, and we ran that together. So, yeah. And also, my last marathon, she ran with me.
What did your family think about all of this?
Yeah, they thought it was heavy. Yeah. But of course, I discussed with them before I was decided to do that. But I think even myself and they didn't realize how tough it would be. But they supported me all the time, and yeah,
I've been to Belgium a couple times. I wouldn't call the weather great. Was
no,
this
no,
was this all out? I'm assuming it was all outside at this place. How was that? How was the weather?
yeah. Well, we don't have an extreme climate, but the winter and spring were very wet, so it was like almost always raining. I even had two hailstorms, and then a few more normal storms. And the track where I was running is very open, so there was when there is wind, you feel it a lot there. So yeah, the that was in the beginning. It was very bad weather, but the last part of the year, I can't complain because then the weather was really mild and I haven't had any storms anymore. So and in the summer we had some hot days as well. That was actually the toughest when it's really warm
Yeah.
because you can't protect yourself against the heat much. So
And very windy or not so much?
yeah, sometimes very windy. Yeah.
It's very hard to wrap one's mind around.
Yeah,
It's an
because
amazing
that's
feat.
also the reason why I'm not having the blues now. Because when I look outside and the weather is bad, I always thinking, "Oh, I'm so happy. I don't have to be out there for 4 hours anymore." So yeah,
So you are 55, is that correct?
yes.
We talk about a lot of hormonal changes on this show that often happen in midlife, and a lot of that causes symptoms that can be joint pain and sleep disturbances and hot flashes and all that. Have you navigated any of that yourself?
Not really, but yeah, I think yeah, I do have some hot flashes at night where I wake up and I'm soaking in sweat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have that. But other than that, I don't have any problems or yeah, no.
So you don't take hormone therapy or any
No, no,
yeah.
because one of my neighbors, she told me that it could cause breast cancer. So she had it, and yeah, she's cured. But I was afraid of that. I never even thought about taking hormone therapy. So
Yeah, that's a whole other show, the conversation around the safety of hormone therapy, but it is considered broadly safe now. It doesn't sound it sounds like you're doing fine though. It sounds like
yeah,
if you yeah, for what you've done. Do you take any other supplements to support your training?
just magnesium and vitamins, and also something for the guts,
Mm.
enteral, yeah, to help digestion, and iron also. Because I had my blood analyzed every week and they discovered that I had iron deficiency. Maybe it's also because I'm vegetarian. So I took some extra iron. But other than that, and of course, no doping.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, I even had there was somebody coming to run with me to ask me that question if I was taking doping. I said, of course not. You can't take even you couldn't even take doping for a whole year. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't do that. That's crazy. Yeah,
the iron makes sense though, because when you're running, you're actually breaking down more red blood cells. So like you use more,
I
more
yeah.
iron for that kind of activity. So even though you're 55 and technically don't need as much, you're using so much doing what you're doing.
I did have a body analysis, and they discovered that my bone structure was very good,
Oh, good.
and I had high bone density, and I was surprised about that. But it appears that it's because of the running that you get stronger bones, and I thought it would be the opposite, but that was
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, if you didn't get any stress fractures, any of that, yeah, that's amazing. You raised 65,000 euros for breast cancer research, is that
Yeah, it's
correct?
now
During this?
already 75, I think.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
what inspired you to select that as your chosen charity?
Well, when I was 17, I had something in my breast, and the doctors thought that it was breast cancer, but it turned out it wasn't. But since then, I was thinking, what if I get it? And actually, if you think about it, the chance to get it in women in Belgium, at least, is 1 in 8.
Here too.
So I think it's pretty high. So I thought, yeah, something should be done about it. And then I met somebody who works for Big Against Breast Cancer at one of my races. And she asked me to collect money for them. And since then, I started collecting money for them. So
Well, well done. That's a lot of
thanks.
money to a good
Yeah.
cause. That's really great.
Mm.
Do you have anything that you're looking at on the horizon as something that you would like to do next? I mean, it's kind of an
Yeah,
annoying
yeah.
question when you're done with
It's, yeah,
something,
no,
but
it's. I wanted to run another time the Spartathlon.
oh,
Uh,
right.
that time. Do you know it?
I know it because I've had Camille Herron on the show.
Oh, really? Yeah, 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 yeah. I met her at well, it was in 23. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So
she won then.
she did
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you've done it, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I finished, but I was slower than her. But she was very nice. I was happy to be able to talk to her. She
Yeah.
has her feet on the ground, and she's not like yeah, yeah. It was very nice to meet her there.
That sounds like quite the epic run too. The that run through Greece. How many kilometers is
Yes,
that?
246.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's the most amazing race that exists. That was one of my bucket list races when I started running ultra races. The other one was Marathon des Sables. That's a race in the desert in Morocco. But
I
there,
am
it's
familiar
totally
with that.
different from Spartathlon because there you run with a heavy backpack and it's in 6 stages. But Spartathlon is all in one go in maximum 36 hours. And yeah, of course, you must know it now. But yeah, that's my dream.
Morocco is very hot too.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How, and you have done that, yes.
yes, yes.
How was that?
Yeah, that was also very tough. Yeah, and the biggest problem was actually that I couldn't sleep because you have to sleep in open tents in the desert, and then sometimes there is a sandstorm. And one night, so my sleeping bag was full of sand, and also my hair. And then you're super tired, and you have to start running. So yeah, I still can't believe that I finished because I was so tired at the start of the big stage of 84 kilometers. I almost didn't start that one, but fortunately I had a friend and he told me just try it and go to the first checkpoint and then you can see and like that I finished. So but Spartathlon is yeah, it's different, but it's so amazing because it's very international.
Hmm.
You have the best ultra runners from all over the world all together, and even yeah, with these people, sometimes only 50% of them finish the race, and then the finish is so amazing with all the flags and you're like heroes when you yeah for the local people they ask you for signatures. Yeah, it's an amazing finish. Yeah.
That sounds great. Have you ever been to any of them in the States?
No, but maybe yeah. I was looking at Badwater
Mm-hmm.
because they are also saying that they are the toughest race on earth. So that's appealing to me. So maybe one day, maybe next year. I don't know.
Well, I have all the confidence in the world that you can do whatever you put your mind to, Hilda. Like,
Well, maybe not the Barkley marathons. I think that would be too difficult for me.
why do you say
The
that?
Because I have very bad orientation skills.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Not a trail runner. So yeah, I think that's not a race for me.
It was so exciting to see Jasmine finish last year, though.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was an
Amazing.
exciting
Yeah.
finish. Um, I guess my final question for you is what do you say to somebody? Because there's lots of people who have big goals or want to do big things and are intimidated by them or don't know if they can. What do you say to somebody who wants to try something maybe audacious? Like what would your advice be?
Uh, just go for it and yeah, believe in yourself and try to build it up gradually. Don't make any unrealistic goals, but if you're dreaming about something, if you work hard for it, you will get there. I think that's something amazing about sports. When you set realistic goals and you train for it, you achieve your goal and it gives you so much self-confidence. At least that was what it did for me. So it's like yeah, like addictive, and I think it's very good for physical and mental health to do sports.
I agree with that. And I agree that that's one of the most satisfying things about it is you put in the work and most of the time you get rewarded for the work that you're
Yeah,
putting
that's
in.
it. Yeah.
Do you work with a coach? Or are you all
Uh,
by yourself?
yes. My coach is Benny Fisher. He's yeah, he has a whole team of athletes that he's guiding. He's my coach since 2019 already. He hasn't done any. Yeah, well, now he's starting to do ultra races himself, but he knows the principle of training. So, and in the meantime, he knows me very well. So yeah, we work good together.
Did he coach you up for this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How long did you work together? Like, how long from the time that you thought, I'm going to do this to the time that you started doing this?
Uh, this year of marathons, or
Yeah.
I did. He didn't really coach me for that
Okay. That's what I was.
because I didn't train for it
Okay.
specifically. I
That
was
was
only
my understanding, but
for
then I wasn't sure
for
if I'd missed something.
Spartathlon. Because yeah, I was already running a lot, so I don't think you can train for that. You just have to be used to running a lot, I think. And it was actually more the mental strength that helped me through it. And also the fact that I already did ultra marathons. So I could think then when I was running the year of marathons that it was only a marathon and only one marathon per day. So in the beginning, I was thinking this is easier than Spartathlon because it's only one marathon. But now I think differently. The 1 year was tougher.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. Now you're like, I'm just going to go and only do Spartathon. That's just
Yeah,
36 hours.
it's only yeah.
Funny how your perspective changes. Well, Hilda, thank you so much for sharing
You're
some more of
welcome.
your stories with us, and best of luck to you and everything that you do.
Thank you, and thanks for having me, Celine.
Well, that's our show. Come on back next week when I sit down with Nike Master Trainer Holly Rillinger, creator of the Lifted Method that includes a special strength training program for women in midlife and menopause. And like us, she is all about getting women strong. So come on back for that one. And until then, as always, stay feisty. You've been listening to Hit Play, Not Pause, a feisty menopause podcast for active, performance-minded women. I'm your host, Celine Yeager. The show is edited and produced by the strong, talented, and amazing women at Live Feisty Media. Follow us on social media at Feisty Menopause. And please help us spread the word. Screenshot and share this episode on your social media channels with the tag @FeistyMenopause. Share the show with your friends. And please subscribe, like, review, and rate this show wherever you get your podcasts. Word of mouth and good reviews make it easier for other listeners to find. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay feisty.